I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. Hey y'all, it's Kate from the Literary Apothecary and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about The Fifth Elephant by Terry Pratchett. This is book 5 in the City Watch series. I loved this book so much. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars and I'll talk about why in just a minute. But first, let me give you a spoiler-free summary of what happens in The Fifth Elephant because, y'all, this book, so much happens. So, when duty calls, Commander Vimes of the Ankh-Morpork and Constabulary answers, even when he doesn't want to. He's been, quote, invited to attend a royal function as both detective and diplomat. The one role he relishes, the other requires, well, ruby tights. Of course, where cops, even those clad in tights, go, alas, crime follows. An attempted assassination and a theft soon lead to a desperate chase from the low halls of Discworld royalty to the legendary fat mines of Uberwald. Yes, you heard that right, fat mines. It's up to the dauntless Vimes, bothered as usual by a familiar cast of Discworld inhabitants, trolls, dwarves, werewolves, and vampires, maybe more, to solve the puzzle of the missing pachyderm, all while on his honeymoon with Lady Sybil. Y'all, this book was so good. Like I said, I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I loved everything about this book and I would not change a single thing about it. Here you have the humor and the wit of Terry Pratchett, all while discussing important topics like transgender. The way that Terry uses his magical creatures, his fantastical creatures like dwarves, to talk about important social topics like transgender, where the dwarves, in legend, all the dwarves are male, but they're not actually all male. There are female dwarves, and he uses the character of Cherry to talk about transgenderism and how she is choosing her own gender and the way that she looks and the way that she represents that. And you know, we got that in some of the other books, but now he takes that discussion and he brings it to outside of Ankh-Morpork and into Uberwald, where all of the dwarves dress as males, even if they may not be males. And they all identify as males and they view her as this totally different creature, even though they're all dwarves. And to be able to have this very serious, very needed discussion within the Discworld universe is something that I feel like is not talked about enough in Terry Pratchett books, because he does this with all sorts of different important social topics, and he does it with such brilliance because he uses his humor and his wit and his creatures, his different Discworld species, to have these important discussions, and it's just so well done. You also get Vimes and Sybil in their marriage and on their honeymoon, and we get this quote from early in the book. It says, "A marriage is always made up of two people who are prepared to swear that the only other one snores." And that one made me laugh so much because I just thought to my mom and my stepdad and how my mom admits that she snores, but my stepdad refuses to admit that he snores. He just always blames it on my mom, who does snore, but my stepdad also does. And so it's just that like reality of real life and marriage in this fantastical world that Terry Pratchett does so well with his characters. And of course, the world building is top notch, especially in this book, because not only do we get the world building of all of these different races in Discworld, but he takes the different races and he puts them into this other country. And we see what the other country thinks of our characters from Ankh-Morpork, but also what they think of, you know, their styles. We see how the dwarves react to Cherry, and we see how the dwarves, or the Uberwaldens, treat people like the trolls, and even how the vampires and the werewolves treat Vimes. And it's just so well done. It's intricate and very detailed, but it doesn't feel that way as you're reading it. It's very entertaining. And I just feel like the brilliance of Terry Pratchett's writing is not talked about enough on BookTube, and we need more attention to this because it's just so well done that you don't see a lot in modern fantasy. So that's my spoiler-free review of The Fifth Elephant, Book 5 in the City Watch series, part of the Discworld universe by Terry Pratchett. I am hoping to continue on either maybe this week or definitely in April, if not, with the City Watch series, with Night Watch up next, and I can't wait to see where Terry Pratchett takes this series. If you've read this series before, let me know in the comments below. What was your favorite moment from The Fifth Elephant? Who's your favorite character from The Fifth Elephant? I love the spotlight that we get on Lady Sybil in this book. She's been kind of a very side character up to this point, but she gets a spotlight in The Fifth Elephant, and it's just so fantastic. So that's it for now. As always, my Patreon and my Discord information will be in the description below. Keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back. Bye.